What is going on, everyone? This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D. Just had a meeting, so I'm running about a half an hour late from my normal time. But one thing I typically do is try to stay the course, excuse me, with these Monday 10 o'clock events. I was looking to bring a few people on, but I'm down in DC with my daughter. I'm hanging out with my daughter, and we're having the greatest time, man. I'm really enjoying spending time with her. And so I was, besides spending time with my daughter, I was caught up in some meetings. So I said, well, I'm still going to do it because I said I was going to do it. And so I'm in beautiful Washington, D.C. right now. And the beauty of having a virtual business, which I have primarily now, is you can do this work from anywhere, anywhere. And so I'm enjoying being able to spend time with my children and still do work. It wasn't like that for me for a long period of time. Most of my life was on airplanes and traveling a lot. And so I missed a lot of things. Good morning, whoever this says LinkedIn user, whoever that may be. I always try to say type your name in when you mention something, but good morning to you as well. And so you're going to start noticing I'm going to start having more guests on this during my time with this. Hey, Lily. Yeah, it's good to see you. How's everything? And yeah, it's been a while. It's been kind of tough for me time wise to do these as much as I used to because our business is really doing well. And but I'm going to really commit to making sure that we stay the course. I do these at 10 o'clock on Monday and 12 o'clock on Friday. This Friday I will not because I'm doing a training for Arizona at work at 12 at that time. And so that day is going to be pretty consumed with some training for that wonderful group out there. What's up, Marv? I know you got tied up. I was trying to get you in here today, but I hit you up last minute, and I apologize for that. But we're going to get you here as promised, and no doubt about it. And so just wanted to, talk today a little bit about what we talked about last week, which is probably to me going to be more of an ongoing type of a conversation. That was we were born to win, but taught to lose. But today in particular, I really want us to think a lot about what are we accepting? And let me tell you why that's important. Okay. What are we accepting? And so when you look at a person, I'm going to talk about progressive people for just a moment. And some of you out there will definitely be able to relate to this. When you're an innovator, when you're cutting edge, when you're leading edge, because sometimes, when you're an entrepreneur or like I'm a social entrepreneur, you're a little bit of a risk taker. One thing, and I'm telling you, this is noteworthy. You may want to write this down as a note. One thing as a personal note, you want to be really careful of is most people, when you're an innovator and when you're cutting edge and you're like willing to take a little bit of risk to do certain things, most people don't go on that journey with you. And so what they try to do is they'll try to label you, and this is important. They'll try to, come up with some names. They'll try to make jokes. They'll say things about you that are inaccurate because they can't relate to what you're doing, you know. Now, people who can relate, like when I joined the National Speakers Association and I got around my peers, nothing but people relating. We encouraging each other. Delatoro McNeil, who's out here doing some phenomenal work. You know what I mean? Things like that. Obviously my mentee and friend Pierre Campbell. We get together, man. We are seriously pushing each other to the next level. All right. And so, but when you are an innovator, most people can't understand you. I like this quote some years ago I heard that said, thanks, Marv. I appreciate that, man. It is true, man. I heard this statement that says, taking risk is like jumping off a cliff and building your wings on the way down. All right. Seriously. I love that quote because the reality is a lot of times with people who create things and innovate and do things, man, I'm telling you, they are sometimes on an island all by themselves. And that's how my whole career has been. Because, and I shouldn't say that because I got good people around me, but I'm always amazed at people who, instead of celebrating your successes, will try to find ways, okay? They'll try to find ways to minimize you. And this is important. Even label you, put you in a box because you're not like them, whatever it may be. They go after careers instead of business, and which is nothing wrong with that, or they do this and do that. And then all of a sudden you become this outlier. But I'm going to tell you something that really, really helped me years ago. And I don't know if he ever would see this, but I met a guy. There's a guy named George Frazier. Some of you may be familiar with him. And George has this big networking event every year for African Americans. It's called Power Networking. If you've not participated in any of George's events, phenomenal. I used to be an early stage speaker at his events, and that's when I wrote my book, How to Find Your Passion and Make a Living at It. And man, I wrote this book, and George liked the book, and he got me out there to speak at events. And Magic Johnson, he had all these people that would come, all kinds of celebrities would always attend his events. And so, but I met a guy there. His name is Daryl Miller. And Daryl's an attorney, but he represents, and he's an agent. Well, more of an attorney. He represents a lot of the celebrities in Hollywood, people who do some pretty big things. And I remember he invited me to an event one time in Los Angeles. I was out there. I'm in the book Chicken Soup for the African American Soul. So I was out there with Lisa Nichols, who many of you all know, who's another dynamo, who's doing some phenomenal things with her life. And we were doing the book release of Chicken Soup. This was many, many, many years ago. Man, this is about 17 years ago. And so I met Daryl at George's event, George Frazier. And when I was flying into LA, I knew he was out in that area. I said, well, hey, man, he was over in, his offices were over in near Beverly Hills. And I said, hey, I'm flying out, man, I would love to get together with you. And he said, absolutely. He said, he's meeting with one of his clients. And he said, you can come over to my client's house, and they just having a big old swim party. And the client turned out to be a lady that many of us know who produced shows called Yvette Lee Bowser. So she's like Girlfriends and It's a Different World with Dwayne Wayne and all of them. So I'm at their home, and I met her husband. His name was Kyle Lee Bowser. So these are some major producers. And so when slowly but surely, all these people start coming to this event. It was like Vanessa from the Cosbys, and the girl who played with Terry Carolina that played with Steve Harvey in his first show. She was there, and her husband. All these people start showing up. And the guy that played with Dwayne Wayne, the guy with Daryl, the little light-skinned guy, I can't remember his actual name, but they called him Daryl. And he was there. And so I'm talking with these folks. And then Daryl was a little bit late. My friend Daryl, he was a little bit late. And he showed up. And he said, man, we were just talking. We were just sitting over in the area in this house, big, beautiful home in LA. And he said, let me tell you something, Daryl. He said, there was a reason why I really wanted you here. He said, everybody out here has big dreams. Everybody out here has big aspirations. And we support each other, literally support each other. And he said, you got to be careful, man, because you can't fit a big dream into a small space. Think about that statement. You can't fit a big dream into a small space. He said, in other words, you got to sometimes, even if it means physically removing yourself and moving to another area, he said, don't be around people who can't appreciate what you bring to the table. And he said, people who think small will want you to think small with them. Or people who can't appreciate what you're doing will try to label you and put you in a box and talk about you and joke about you and all that kind of stuff. You want to be around people who can appreciate you. He said, because you're a dreamer and you're an innovator. And man, that changed my life. When he said that, that changed my life. And I'm going to tell you why, because I was getting caught up in people, and it's like, I was like, man, I was starting to marginalize myself because of how people communicated and what they thought. I said, man, I'm not in an environment that people can support entrepreneurism or support people who have innovative thinking. So instead of supporting and encourage, they're going to think small about me, try to get me to think small about myself, and they want to think small about me, And so I'm saying to you, be careful of what you accept. See, that day, you say, good morning. Hey, good morning, Bobby. Good to have you on. That day, I chose to accept the words of wisdom from someone who represents all kinds of people in the entertainment space who call him good friend, and he's, he said he's from Ohio and he had to move to California for this dream to take place. And I'm gonna tell you, man, it opened my eyes that I need to make sure I'm surrounded by people who see me for who I am, the uniqueness of how I'm wired as a social entrepreneur, and who can get, yeah, man, come on, man, they can't, Marv. Small-minded people can't comprehend men and women with big dreams. So they want to squeeze you into that small box, man. And if you're around it enough, what happens is you end up accepting that small box just to please. This is important, just to please those people. Those people who are never, ever going to, I'm not saying never because it happens, that are never going to see sometimes some of their own fullest potential. Or this is another thing, are just envious of you because of what you chose to do with your life. Envious, you know. And I'm gonna tell you something, dreamers have been struggling with this for years. I remember meeting this guy years ago, and this is not race specific or anything, it could be anybody. Who had built up a tremendous business, and ended up, losing it all, and everything fell apart. And I remember one time having a conversation, I said, what happened? He said, man, it's like I just could never break through in my own thinking because everybody around me just was always pulling me down and, saying negative things. And it's like my success, this is so important. My success became a hindrance to them. I'm telling you, man, this right here is worth the price of admission for those of you who understand what I'm talking about. It's like my success became a hindrance for them. And it's so important to understand when you're trying to pursue things, and that doesn't mean that we all got to be multi-million-dollar business owners or super celebrities with, on the camera every day. I mean, success is truly in the eyes of the beholder. And so the person who chooses to achieve certain outcomes, they know what they want. But the point I'm making is you got to have some folks around you, like I had that day with Daryl, who was willing to tell me, man, I see something in you. But that thing you have inside you ain't gonna manifest hanging around what you hanging around. It ain't gonna happen. You gotta get around. He said, these are the folks I'm hanging around. And so every year we're encouraging. He was on the board of the Academy Awards and, on their board of trustees and all that, man. He said, I'm just running with people who run it. And I realized that, you know what, it's that's how it should be. It should be that you have people that I like what Zig Ziglar said a long time ago. He said, you got two types of goals. He said, you got give up goals and you got go up goals. Write this down. Zig shared this years ago. Give up goals and go up goals. He said, give up goals are goals that you giving up. I'm gonna lose 25 pounds. I'm gonna make better life choices. Those are give up goals, man. You can tell everybody that. It doesn't matter what people think. But your go up goals, don't tell only a hand. Zig said maybe 1, 2, 3 people. Don't tell everybody your go up goals. It said because everybody is not going to support your go up goals, whatever those goals may be. It could be for some of you first generation college students like me, first generation, and you think that's something that's worth celebrating and you don't get no celebration. It's like, whatever. Yeah. Come on, Eva. There you go. You got to be around like-minded people, and this message is for across the board. It could be like we see people and we make the assumption, okay, that, if a person is achieving something, that it's easy for them and they've just been able to accomplish. Sometimes don't know what people had to go through, the rejection, the disconnect, the push away. Remember, we were talking about we were born to win, but taught to lose. And so that's why some people get comfortable with losing. All right. Because it's comfortable just to please people, And people are the X factor in all of this, trying to please folk. Got to do it, got to lower myself so that they'll be happy. Man, let me tell you something. You know what I mean? I'm in my 50s. Let me tell you, life you don't have forever. You do not spend all your time there. You run with those who are running. Like Marv is on here, and Marv Worthy, and a good friend of mine. And Marv is running. We've been running together we introduced each other by a friend named Dominic Macri Creata, and we've been friends ever since. You see what I'm saying? We've been friends ever since, and just running. You see, I got my circles. I'm gonna tell you something. I got a very small circle. 5 people. That's about it. And the reason why is because I found that these 5 people have been loyal to me as a person for decades. I mean, and I've been loyal to them. Because I'm telling you, man, all this, you expect things and all that, me to be something you want me to be. I can't roll with that. I'll know you. I'll even be friends as far as, hey, you don't get together for dinner, but I ain't running with you. I'm not, because I'm one of those people I talked about in the beginning. That's the risk taker. I'm willing to try new things, write books. You know what I mean? I gave up a corporate career many, many years ago. And I mean, I'm not sitting there boasting about that, because it's great to have a corporate career. It's great to have, 25, 30 years in with a company, an organization, but I wasn't wired for that. I was wired to use my voice to impact the world in a positive way. You know what I mean? And had a chance to interact with people like Dr. Miles Monroe and many others who inspired me around this dream. You know, and so I'm saying to you, whatever that dream may be for you, be it a teacher, be it I don't know, HVAC, building air conditioning units. Everybody's dream is different. But you got to realize, watch what people say to you. Watch what they say to you. Because a lot of who we become is a byproduct of what we embrace from other people. I mentioned we're doing a lot of work in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. My slice of the pie is racial equity. That's why I'm doing a lot of my work. And so me and my team and the people that's working with me and doing all these things, listen, let me tell you, one thing I shared, and that is simply this. And that is, a lot of people just simply have no idea of how they have been programmed in their thinking by other people to think a certain way about other people. They don't even know. It's been so ingrained in the way that they think that they don't even know that it's wrong. Hear what I'm saying? Come on, brother Vic, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they don't even know. So people get mad at them and like, why do they think that way? And like, oh, man, something wrong with them. And man, and they go all off the deep end. I'm trying to say, man, they messed up in it. It's not messed up. I mean, let me backtrack. They just don't know that what they're thinking is wrong, because they've been programmed to think it's right. When you hear things over and over and over and over again, and you see things in the media over and over and over and over again, you know what I mean? It's just like, we expect people just to wake up the next day and all of a sudden their thinking has changed. No, that's what they thought that's just what they've been thinking all these years. And so what's making our programs effective is we ain't training, all that training, man. We're taking people on journeys. That's an exploratory journey to really get deep inside of themselves and say, why do I think the way I think? Where did that come from? And is it correct? Because the reality is, sometimes when we go deep and realize, man, I got that from someone that is totally off. Why did I even allow myself over the years? Because when you're younger, again, I mentioned this before, you don't have any, it's no choice. You're just young, and people around you and talking and sharing things. So you start to shape who you are around all these people. And then you grow up and you have a mind of your own, and you're like, oh my God, what did I learn? And so I'm telling you, this whole thing of what we accept is really a big part of where we are as a nation today and as a world today. People hating people because of people have always hated people. People discriminating against people because people have always discriminated, and never stopping to look at, why do we do that? Why? Because you were taught to do that. But keep in mind, we were born to win, but we were taught to lose. Please hear what I'm saying. We are. Listen, let's talk about this Friday is my diversity thing, but let's talk about it for a moment. If you took a African, and this is a scenario, some of y'all can use this. If you do this, give me credit, please, because this is good stuff right here. If you took a black baby and you took a white baby and you took an Indian baby, you took a Hispanic baby that was old enough to kind of function and interact with each other, you put them in a space together, you know what they're going to do? They're going to play. They're going to play with the balls. They're going to play with toys. They're going to play, and they're going to look at each other, and they're going to play. That's what they're going to do. Why? They're babies. They ain't been programmed yet. They haven't been programmed. And so what's going to do? They'll play. Now you take those same babies and make them adults and put them in the same space and see how they interact. Why? Because of what they were taught. Let me tell you something, man. That's why I say we were born to win. If we could ever get people back to understanding we were born to win, we weren't born to hate. We weren't born to discriminate. We weren't born to point fingers. We weren't born to do, we were born to win. That's why I've been having people say in these sessions, write it down. I'm born to win. And sometimes we got to go back to the beginning and say, why in the world do I think the way I think? You see, and it's what's nice is like with the work I'm doing, even not just in the DEI, but in team building or organizational design or all the different things that we've been doing, building these functional teams. We've been doing a lot. I got some state contracts to do core values training, but not training, but also integration, core values integration. We're integrating core values into the fabric of organizations all throughout this country. People think I'm just a motivational speaker. That was 20 years ago. Today, we do a lot of consulting and training and building systems, but I always tell folks in these organizations and agencies that we're working with and corporations and businesses and all of that your culture is a byproduct of people with multiple mindsets. These folks are coming in with all this baggage and we got to do work together. So now we got to go back to, okay, how do we dump that garbage and unify our efforts? Like if you're bringing us in to do core values integration and we're looking at your organization, and I see it all the time, a lot of infighting and this manager don't like that manager, this person don't like that person. Anybody else with me? Come on, type that in the chat feature. Don't act like I'm the only one that sees this stuff. This person, that one, all this is how we do things. Oh, when you work with Fred, you better work with him this way because he gets angry if you say things the wrong way. That's bondage. that's bondage. We got to mature. And get to the point where we can communicate to each other in a respectful manner, even if we disagree. That's a whole nother level of thinking. But people have been shaped over a lifetime of thinking things a certain way. And so they carry that into every interaction. If they're angry at everybody, but then guess what? If they're loving to everybody. There's a customer, I'll say this, I'm getting ready to wrap this up, but there's a customer I have a major contract. I don't like to talk about all my, because not everybody want me to tell all their business, but I have a major contract in the state of Pennsylvania. And we're doing this work and it's great work. But there's this one lady that works for this organization and this woman has the sweetest spirit. When you talk and interact with her, it's just, man, sometimes I just want to talk just to talk to her. Because we're working on this and we're working on coordinating and we're working on the consulting, all these different things. But every time she speaks, man, it's from the heart. You can feel it. I said, oh, man, she gets it. You treat people with decency, man. You don't even have to agree with them all the time, but treat them with decency. And so, because when you look at what is accepted part, that's people. That's people. So in your organization, this is stuff that needs to be worked on. Individually, as you're pursuing your dreams, these are things that we need to work on. I always talk about building a dream team. These are several people we can run together. This is where we need to work. I'm telling you, these are things because life itself moves way too quickly. You look up one day, you'll be 60, 70, 80, and like, what happened? The reality is, I'm radical enough, and maybe it's Dr. Miles Monroe's influence on me. You're welcome, Bobby. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for your thanks. Miles has taught me a long time ago. You know what I mean? I think differently because of what I was taught. But Miles taught me a long time ago, because I need to be really in charge. Yeah, there you go, Kevin. Treat people how you want to be treated. Long time that every person counts. Every person is valuable. Like people like to put people in boxes and things like that. Like, for instance, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Some people will see me as a African American male with aspirations, but older African American male. They'll see that young kid that's pursuing the dream. That's a young man of color, and they'll say, "We will support you. We encourage you. We're behind you." But then they see a man who had to go through the same thing that kid go through. And then all of a sudden, man, who do you think you are? Somebody out there know what somebody feeling me on this. You know what I mean? Oh, man, They want to label you in box. I said, but 25, 30 years ago, I was that kid right there. So you're trying to say, is this how that kid's going to be treated once they break through and start doing something with their life? So the goal is, it's okay to care about somebody when they're a certain state, but then when they achieve a certain state, then all of a sudden you box them. This is serious stuff I'm talking about. And it's not just about race. It could be, family situations or scenarios. Yeah, exactly. I'm serious. It's crazy. I mean, I'm serious. I have people say things to me sometimes. I said, man, you know what I mean? I see these same people. They'll go to bat for certain folks. They'll go to bat for, like, again, young person trying to pursue. But then they see me and I'm like, wait a minute. I was that same kid. And why now as an adult, you want to see me differently? It's almost like that kid is destined for failure once they succeed. It's crazy, man, the mindsets we have out here. But you got to realize, I'm okay now because that used to bother me. It don't bother me no more. Because you know what? I'm fully in control of what I accept. I know who opinion counts. And if that person's opinion doesn't count, I just say discount it. Because I come to realize that we all have this people have these ways of thinking that's so off in left field. And my hope is with this presentation that some of that changes. Yeah, I Kevo, that's right. One of my young lions over in Kenya. Yeah, it's like that over there. It's like that over there, man. It's worldwide, Kevo. You're over in Africa and Kenya. We're here in the States, and man, it's the same. It's people. You see? But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna hit you with a scripture, and I'm gonna leave. But the Bible says it clearly like this. It says we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And so what I tell a lot of people is, all that born a certain way, treat people a certain way, act a certain way, and all of that, and then it's iniquity. Now we say we care about people, then we don't show no care. We classify. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, that's what I'm saying. Eva, people always trying to box us. I'm telling you, thank you for sharing that, Eva. They're always trying to put us in the box. That's it. She's talking about how someone said to her the other day about stepping out of some box at my age. People always got, and people, but you have to write this. I told you this before, but I want y'all to get this. And this is a quote that I use all the time. I am in control of who opinion counts. Now, it took me a long time to get there, but please write that quote down. Put it on your wall somewhere. I am in control of who opinion counts. Because if that opinion is just coming from a frustrated, jealous, envious spirited person, why would I let it penetrate me? I used to. I'm going to be honest with you. I used to, but I don't know more because I realize life is too precious and our gifts are designed to impact society. Like many of you are thanking me for this. I'm using my gift. My customers, I have customers. I'll tell you, I love my customers. I have great customers. Even some of the ones that give me a headache, I still love them because we're working through something. And I always appreciate the fact that they would take my firm, a Black-owned firm, and have come into their organization, work with their people. That means a lot to me personally. That tells me that they're open to receive from anyone. They're not looking at a person's situation. They're not looking at a person. They're looking at the fact that we have the skills and the abilities to do it, and they're willing to take the time. All right. And I love that, man. It just makes me, I do these presentations and I do some speeches and I have people email how it changed their life. I love that stuff because that's what I'm born to do. And so when you were born to win, that's a gift that you were given to use your life to impact society, your family, and things like that. But we were taught to lose. That's Lewis Timberlake. Remember, that's what I'm talking about. Lewis Timberlake. And it's so important that we focus more on the born to win part than the taught to lose. A lot of what we become is a byproduct of what people told us we were. I'm telling you right now. Or people, boxes that people try to put us in. Don't let that happen anymore. Don't let that happen anymore. I don't have any several tips today. I'm just talking to you today. You take control of your calling, your gifting. You take control of what it is that you feel as though on this planet you're supposed to be doing. Because the reality is, most folk with the exception of a very small circle, aren't going to be feeling it because it's not them, or they're envious the fact that you're trying to do it, or and things like that. So this is not to cause division. It's not to say that everybody in our life have to be people that support our dreams. I got some folk, we just friends, we hang out, we eat, break bread, and we ain't talking about no dreams. Just, we're hanging with our kids and things like that. I need them all. But like Zig said, those go up goals, when you're trying to do something, you need people that's going to be there for you, that's going to push you and encourage you and not be envious of you, but inspire you. So that's all I have. I excuse my background. I got my Kevo. You see what I got on, man? I got Mary made this shirt for me when I was in Nairobi. So I got my Nairobi. You see what I'm saying? I see Facebook user, let's go. There's only one person I know that says let's go. Is that who I think it is? If so, type your name in the chat feature real quick, because let's go. That means that's my brother from another mother. And I think that's Pierre. I hope it is. It just says Facebook user on here. But the reality is, man, don't you were born to win. You see, I knew that had the LKP. It's just yeah, the African shirt. You see my shirt, Kevin? Look at, hey man, I got the belt on too. I'm not gonna stand up and show my belt, but the belt that James made for me, a Kaboy, over there when he gave me one when we were over there, and I was just talking to Bishop. I just communicating, try to get back over there once this COVID lifts, man, because it's been a long time since we've been over there, but we'll get back. So listen, P, I've been talking about you through this entire video, man. Just telling folks how we running this thing, man, and how we're going. And see, when I talked about my team, remember I talk about people I run with? That's one of them right there, Pierre Campbell. You know what I mean? That we just run together. Why? Remember I said what Zig said, give up goals, tell everybody. Go up goals, only tell a few. And he's one of the few that know my go up goals. Can't tell everybody that. Am I right, P? You can't tell everybody you go up goals. Because not everybody is going to get behind them. Not everybody going to be happy for you. Not everybody going to encourage you. But let me, as I wrap this up for the 20th time, I'm starting to sound like a pastor, because that's what pastors do. They close all day long. You got to realize, be careful of what you accept. Don't let other people get up in here. Fight to protect this thing, because it's words and actions of other people that minimize our ability to achieve that goal and dream that we have for our life. That was our birthright. That was our birthright. So that's all I have. I love my work. I'm going to give you my website. Again, I'm CoachDSpeaks.com. You can just look that up if you want more information on who we are, what we do. I don't do these for the sake of just doing them. I do them because I really just believe I want to contribute to society. I mean, God has been good to me and my family. I have a tremendous customer base. I've always looked for more opportunities if it's out there. But if not, I'm just going to share some insights, and you know what I mean? I'm not looking for anything at the end of it. Just want to be able to share and use my gifts like I always have. You see, as I always have. I'm always been like this, always. So God bless you all. We'll be in touch. Friday, I won't be able to do this again because of, you know what I mean? Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I'm proud of you, young man. Because I'm training some folks in Arizona virtually on Friday. So we'll pick it up again next Monday. All right. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.